And we're live.
Or are we Memorex?
Nobody remembers that anymore.
That's the point. It's for all us old people.
I'm going to grip my chair and lean.
What?
You know, from the ad where the guy's like sitting in the chair in front of the speakers and he's, just kind of pushed back, enjoying it all, laid back, I guess. Hey, isn't there like a wine thing that goes by?
I think you've gone way further into the reference than I intended.
Uh-oh. Getting out tools.
Well, I'm getting tools out of the way so I can get one tool.
I thought you were doing
Ironically, it was this one.
I thought you were doing
Just everything was buried under it.
Okay. As I was going to say, I thought you were doing your best Mad Max entering Barter Town. Yeah, pulls out all of his weapons.
Oh. You know, that's kind of a trope. Now that you mention it and I'm thinking about it, there's a lot of things that do that. And they just keep unloading weapons.
Yeah.
And now, of course, I'm not going to be able to pull on the top of my head. But that's not a uncommon image for some reason. How far back on the wall is it? Better stick within this. Safe zone.
Oh, hey, your camera moved. Okay. Now, I'm not promising anything, but I think we're having technical difficulties. And Rich, if you're talking, I have no idea because I can't hear anything but the music. Oh. For any and all future viewers, you're welcome. That was an amazing dance scene, I know. Hey! Almost there. It's closer. Yeah. Up, up. A little to my left. Nope, other way. There you go. Ugh. What? Hey, the picture's back on the right part. Weak. Okay. This is like the worst T-Mobile ad. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Because I can't hear anything. Well, that's not true. I can hear the music playing. I know we try not to get political, but gosh, Rich, why do you have to list all of Biden's accomplishments as president? I'm gonna feel silly if your sound's on and it's just somehow me. But yeah, I can't hear anything other than the music. Which, by the way, welcome, single viewer and all future viewers. We're experiencing a slight technical hiccup with the audio. And more to join. Welcome. Rich is currently, I think, panicking about the audio. And I'm wishing I had some talent. I already lost one viewer. I think it might have something to do with me. You know, the whole, floating head saying nothing. Oh, we got another viewer. This is my entire night. I watched the numbers. Rich said he was going to be doing some new tricks. He's practicing his telepathy. Or, no, telekinesis. All right. So, Rich said he's going to back out and come back in. We shall see. I see him.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
I literally had to back out of the studio. But yeah, I'm not frustrated or not panicking. I'm kind of pissed off.
Well,
I'm paying for a service that doesn't let me use the service. That's not okay in my book.
What? Okay.
Right. Well, I don't think we're gonna have a tunnel right here.
I would tell you that I can see what you're working on. I mean, I know what you're working on, but I'm a little scared of you adjusting the camera.
Yep, I'm not doing it. I'm going back to where I was. I'll figure the other panel out later. When I'm not ready to put my foot through the friggin' laptop. And it's not the laptop's fault.
Ah,
Alright, back to drawing. Finish the panel off of this page and then lighting. Gotta light the other panel. And finish lighting this one. There are marks at the top and bottom of the page in blue. And that is what I'm lining up to. I should have tilted his head down looking at this panel.
rookie mistake.
Yeah, you better take over.
I'll pass on that.
Well, I was going to ask who's with us, but
You what?
so I was going to ask who's with us, but once again,
So did you end up with a bunch of snow?
We got a little and it melted.
Yeah. Like they were all talking about how it was going to be like, snowpocalypse and all this stuff. And we had a delay because there was a little bit of snow and I guess some icy roads, but I mean, it was nothing like they made it seem like it was going to be. Which I think is pretty well what I thought was going to happen, but it's just one of those things where it's like, they hype it up so much, you just gets people's hopes up, kind of, even if they don't want it, they just kind of expect it. I don't know.
Gets people's hopes up.
Well, I mean, the kids, especially, but.
Oh, I just found that particular phrasing amusing. Gets people's hopes up.
Well, they want the drama. They want the.
Snow day.
Yeah.
I can play video games.
My son's school actually canceled because of drifting or something. I don't know. And but it was a real cancellation. It wasn't like a e-learning day. It was, you're gonna have to make this up. I was just like, I get a 2-hour delay. I don't have to make up anything, and I have a short day. I'm excited. So now my son has to go to class on Martin Luther King Jr. Day. No, President's Day. That's the day they're making it.
Milk Day.
Yeah, Milk Day. Yeah. Yeah, President's Day. And, whatever. I don't have to. So there. The teeth and elbow kind of point towards the lower panel.
Yeah, and the tentacle leads to the lower panel.
Yeah. I get what you were saying about he should have been looking, but.
Well, I mean, he's looking up at this panel. But
right.
This one's actually looking down. Like, it's all right. I mean, because that's not the last panel, and you're obviously going to know that this is the last panel. Yeah. But it's just a good habit to get into aiming what's going on to the next panel, unless you have to flip action. Like if he's swinging a punch at somebody this way, you don't want to switch it to here when that guy gets knocked out of the panel this way. You want to stay consistent, because even if you can switch cameras when you're doing that with film. When you're doing it with panels for storytelling's sake, you probably shouldn't. That way the action reads the same. I could turn him because he was unexpectedly caught up in a tentacle, so I wanted to have a tentacle coming out of the water. I actually been thinking about how I wanted to do this panel and having this other panel cut into the water here, if it blurs, but it just, there's not very much room between here and here. So I do like the idea of warping the image a little bit so you're kind of looking through the water. I don't know how much you can see either, so.
A little. Like the upper elbow up to about the bottom of his chest is about what
Yeah.
But all we.
Yeah, that's all right, because I'm just talking about the panel border, and I'm trying to do something a little bit more experimental with the border to make it look liquid. And I think that's not too bad. It's okay to warp this a little bit. I'm actually trying to experiment with the storytelling and the panels instead of like having your normal gutters. Actually worried that he looks a little bit small in this panel. I mean, I like this area. And he's got his gut sucked in, but I'm worried about the arms looking big enough. I like this one. Could be wider, I guess. I like the shape of it. I like how you see the wrist and how it's bent over.
Yeah.
You know, the way it is. So I don't know. I'm torn. I like the idea of also the suit being a little bit fluid. It's not like liquid. When I say fluid, I mean like able to change shape a bit. So it can get smaller if he has to crawl through smaller spaces, but it's just as dense. Glad I changed the mask though, because after the comment about the Macs, I actually kind of posted them a cover of the Macs and the original poster that I drew, original promo art that I drew. And I did notice there is some similarity in the way that he's hunched over, but I think that's the Max is drawn to be a very huge guy. Like you can see by his legs, he's way bigger than Mastiff. And I think he's supposed to be posing like Spider-Man, not like a dog. So I think there's some nuance in that, and that's okay. But changing the mask up, making the mask a little bit more toothy. I think that that distinguishes him a little bit more.
Okay.
Well, because I looked at it, was looking at it in a very close side-by-side nature. At first, I'm like, how you figure, like the Max has got different colored gloves. He's got purple and he's got yellow, and this is all one color suit. And matter of fact, it's a gray suit, so like we never discussed ultimate color, but I've only drawn him in black and gray, so I imagine it's a gray suit. And being in color will distinguish it that way. But the facial marks will be separated too. Because I could see, like when I was looking at the Max, and it looks like he's got buck teeth, right? It's almost like a necklace of buck teeth, or a gorget, or gorget. See if I got the original sketch right here. I post it all the time for when I'm working on Mastiff, but I change I crop it at the mouth, because that's what I noticed is that I don't agree that he looks like him exactly, but enough to say, he looks like him. When you want to do things quickly.
Always.
I have the original drawing too, the one that when he was going to be an enigma to the other character. It's gone through a couple of changes already.
Well, if you look at, like, Batman went through a lot of changes.
Yeah, but usually that's because he went through different artists. It's really weird that I have our villain in my hand, but I don't have this picture with it. That's really odd, but I can't seem to find it. I'm gonna take the whole screen looking for it. So the original kind of doofy sketch, right? Was that
right?
It's changed.
A little bit.
Yeah, you could say that. Maybe the chains would help. Okay, back to work. Back to work, because we have one person watching that wants to see work. I think. I keep drawing stuff that I'm supposed to be erasing.
You gotta know which tool to use.
Well, just my preference from my old industry to try to get the lines as clean as I can get them.
Yeah.
But I just got to remind myself I'm erasing those lines, so those aren't the ones that are important. It's this one that crosses it because that's the tentacle.
So, I've seen other people use lead holders like yours. Why that over a pencil?
I think it's a preference thing for the most part, but like I don't have to get up to sharpen this. Sander right next to me. I can change the length of the lead and use it sideways so that I can get some like a wider swath coverage. It's actually got a sharpener back here as well. Pencil leads. Well, another thing too is I can change my lead. So if I want to be drawing with a blue lead instead of this lead, or if I want to be drawing in 2B or 6B or HB or I think it's 2 or 3, so it's a harder lead, which is harder than a pencil lead. Pencil lead's HB. And it's not like a whole lot of reasons. It's actually a drafting pencil, but most normal cartoonists are drawing on a drafting table too. So drafting table, drafting supplies. This is out of the picture too, so but I'm still going to draw it. Why? Because it creeps into the picture. It's another thing I'm trying to get used to too is using the live area, or how much of the area to consider live. I can't wait till he meets his enemy. Because then I'm going to ding the shit out of this costume. I'm just going to give it personality. It's going to give it personality. I don't think that's actually high enough. That. I don't want to leave room for caption.
Okay.
Not sure if we're captioning anything through here, but I think if we've got all this space and no words, it's kind of a waste of that space. All right. Now it looks like his head's turning a little bit that way.
Okay.
I don't want to turn it a whole bunch that way, but enough to leave you off the panel. North south. So we're off. So we're off. Come on then. Come on then. Call. Come on. Come on then. Call.
Whoa.
Really?
Oh, yeah. And we're back.
All I had to do was actually lower the screen and click on the controls. I didn't even have to do anything. I'm going to mute for a second. I'll be right back.
All right. Way too close. There you go. Hey, you're back.
Yeah, he was about to try me to quit because he's being loud because he's got his earphones on, so he can't hear how loud he is. I'm trying to tell him, take your earphones out so that you can hear how loud you are. He's like, after stream, like, no, I'm not going to be able to stream if you keep getting loud.
So I was watching a YouTube short about, I don't know how recent this thing was. Like, I know the YouTube short popped up on my feed, but still, I don't think the news is all that new because it was about the Acolyte, and they were complaining about the fan base being toxic and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like,
well,
wait,
why are you fucking making toxic fan stuff?
Well, yeah, like one thing, like if you knew the fan base was toxic, why are you making products for them? And they all they did was, they were gleeful. Oh, this is gonna piss off the fan base. This is gonna piss people off. It's like, all right, so you set off to upset the fans, and then when you did it, it's like, wait. You didn't have a fan base to replace the one you wanted to piss off? And you're mad? Like, maybe you should have, I don't know, tried to piss off the people that supposedly like your product.
Right? I'll never really understand that. It's just a dominance play. I can because I own the product now.
Right.
Okay, well, you can lose fucking money from here on out. Lost my money, and that probably would have been a lot.
That's
not a lot in the scheme of things, but everything that they had come up with, if they had done it right, then it would have been there.
Well, it's like, I heard there's a rumor that their next project will be set in the Old Republic, like a Knights of the Old Republic show. And that should be awesome. And I've really enjoyed Skeleton Crew, and I really enjoyed Andor, and I can't wait to see more of both. And I even enjoyed Ahsoka. I thought it was pretty good. So, like, it's not like I just hate everything Star Wars or anything. But man, this news came out.
A lot more tolerant of that bullshit than I am.
Well,
it's too short for me.
The fact that they want to go to the Knights of the Old Republic, which one of my favorite game series of all time. I loved the two original games. I thought they were great. So, but the fact that they want to change time period, and that's all they're doing to us, it's like, I don't trust that you're going to do the time period right. And that's the problem. Like, they've burned so much goodwill and trust that they'll handle the property. Like, people are just amazed. Like, wait, I mean, Skeleton Crew is not, just terrible, so it's hard to get excited. Well, it's hard to get excited. Like, I'm sure I'll give it a shot. But it's not going to be something that I just can't wait for. I was like, well, let's see what they do. Maybe it'll work. Maybe they'll learn something from trying to piss off the fans. I don't know, but we'll see. But it also had me thinking about, like, what is a toxic fan base? If it's a fan base that knows what it wants and it's pissed when you don't give it to them, I don't necessarily think that's toxic. I think that's just a fan base. Audience wants what the audience wants. I mean, it's just that's just free market.
So they're idiots in the first place, because what does fan mean?
Wait, what?
It's a foreshortening of fanatic. And a fanatic knows every little fucking detail about everything. And then when you fucking contradict all the things that they know, you're not pissing off the fan base. You're doing it wrong. And they're calling you on it.
Well, I was thinking about, like, I've seen all the stuff about the Henry Cavill versus the new guy.
David Cornsweet.
Yeah.
Cornsweet?
I don't know. As you can tell.
I know how to spell it. I'm just not sure how to say it.
Oh. Well, obviously, I'm more of a Henry Cavill bandwagon, but and I see some of the fighting though that people do. They're like, Snyderverse people versus the James Gunn people.
Yeah, it's stupid. People need something to fight about.
I guess. But I'm like, all right, that might be toxic because you have rivals that within it.
So it's news that Trump said that we should rename the Gulf of Mexico. That made headline news locally. Really?
Yeah.
Do you not realize that that's as much of a joke as Canada being the 51st state? And they're just getting all upset. Like, how do you not have a sense of humor anymore? You don't know what a fucking sense of humor is anymore. Like, if that's your criticism of him, yay. You're a stiff shit bag.
So long as it's a joke.
All the people that wanted him to lose are jumping on because, it's something to complain about. Like, we just need something to bitch about. How's that lower your food prices? Well, lowering gasoline prices helps.
Yeah.
Because, the the transportation costs have dropped, so that could be one way. And then they're all like, well, Biden did that. Well, how come Biden didn't do it in the whole 3 years he was in office? He did it because he was on his way out, and he knew he was on his way out, and he wanted to have something. He claimed that Trump profited from him on that. It's just stupid, really, altogether stupid.
Oh, I agree.
You know what I mean? Like, why don't you just shut up and enjoy the good stuff? If something bad happens, bitch, by all means, but don't make shit up to bitch about before there's anything to bitch about.
Yeah.
We've said it before, and like, you know, you know, we've said it before, but you're also saying this about Star Wars as well, that why would you want it to fail? You know, why would you want to see it fail? Same thing with Superman. And Henry Cavill addressed this as well, saying, you know, as long as he holds up to the principles of Superman, like there's been many different actors that play Superman, right?
Yeah.
I read today or heard today, this is the silliest shit, that the reason that he's got the shorts that Superman has instead of Henry Cavill's no red underpants,
Right.
is because David Corenswet said it's more kid friendly to have underwear.
That's weird.
Yeah. Kids will feel more comfortable with him if he's got underwear on. Well, you know, you're not showing what's underneath of the underwear.
Yeah.
You're actually talking about outerwear that's underwear. And somebody was mentioning, like, in one of the Superman fan rooms, that it's the whole underwear on the outside thing is based on the strongman from the circus, and I totally agree. That is exactly what it's based on. That's why the Phantom had it. And if you look at like the Phantom striped underwear, and you look at a lot of the strongmen, they had striped underwear on outside of it. But the thing is here, that was the 1930s, and that was the style of the 1930s and the 1940s. And then where are the circus strongmen now?
They're on the WWE.
Yeah, but they're not circus strongmen anymore. They're exhibitionists.
Yeah.
And they're not wearing their underwear on the outside of the leotard.
Nope.
They're just wearing underwear or just leotard. So, I guess what I'm getting at is that makes total sense if you think about it in context, but that context has changed.
Right.
That's what I'm saying, is the context has changed. So Henry Cavill was a new Superman for a new context, a new time period. And yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, Superman should be for truth, justice, and the American way. We should be for truth, justice, and the American way. But that's been changed in the comics as well lately. You don't even say that anymore.
Right.
More is the pity. That's mostly what's the shame, really, of it. Like, I'm not opposed to David Corenswet playing him. He looks goofy to me. He doesn't look like Superman in the pictures that they have. I could care less. No, I couldn't care less.
Right.
About Crypto. Like, Crypto's an afterthought. Somebody farted him onto a page when they needed kids.
Uh-huh.
Like, in reality, there was no Crypto. There was no Supergirl for how long?
Right.
Oh, and that's another thing we're seeing, that Jason Momoa is going to play Lobo in the new Supergirl. Well, that means we have to watch the new Supergirl. Like, I don't want to watch the new Supergirl. I'm not interested in Supergirl. Nothing about Supergirl. Nothing. So, I have to watch Supergirl to watch Lobo? And Lobo wasn't even introduced in the Supers. He was introduced in Omega Man. And if you saw him in Omega Man, he looks like a member of Menudo with a clown face and purple hair. Not like what he looks like now. I wonder if we're going to get any hate for that, but it's a fact. One of the mods of the David Finch fan server posted a Lobo challenge for this week. And as he posted in the pictures, I posted one of the original pictures and he deleted it. And I'm like, there you go. So I posted it again. And he's like, in the private mod chat, he's like, you can post Omega Man next week. And I'm like, dude, that's Lobo. Like, you should know what the fuck you're talking about before you click before you talk. That's a lot of the problem I'm seeing lately, is that someone doesn't really know the facts, and then they talk shit about like they do know the facts. Well, Lobo was originally made to be DC's Wolverine, but it's worth knowing what he looked like. Wow. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to present here.
Okay.
This is the original Lobo. Not what you expected, is it? And then the coolest trick of the...
I can't see any difference. It's like if HR wants me to find a difference between these two pictures, I can't. I'm sorry. Same thing.
And then the cooler version of that. What's going on here? They should have presented it.
What was the old picture? That is, yeah.
Well, anatomy-wise, drawing-wise, it's pretty good. Actual character design-wise, well, that's the whole different story.
Yeah, that is not the best. Yeah.
And it's the beginning of the Lobo story. But you can see a lot more Lobo in him now. Actually, he kind of looks like Gene Simmons, right?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like he's one of the space members of KISS.
Yep. So yeah, and it booted me again, didn't it?
Yeah,
It's getting pretty old.
There you go.
Yeah, all I did was just click on the setting. I didn't even touch it. Just clicked on it.
Oh yeah, that got a lot bigger.
Oh yeah, because it went back to normal, right?
Oh no, I wasn't talking about that. I had you on a smaller screen, and so I put you up, and so the background, which you can't see what I'm looking at because I'm using my mouse to go over, or the cursor to go over the face in the background. Like I didn't know what that was.
Oh.
And so I just blew
Yeah.
it up, and now it's like, oh, that's obvious.
Yeah, he's not quite the small bad guy I intended him to be, or you intended him to be.
Well, I mean,
Well, when I say small, I mean lesser, not small in stature. And
that
now
was
he's
going to be
big
more
enough
like
to be-
the Rancor almost.
right.
Yeah, that's fine. That still works.
That was actually what I was kind of thinking when I set it up. Was that if we do a real Demogorgon, which really doesn't happen, like you see a whole bunch of the whole Stranger Things version of the Demogorgon,
Right.
but you don't see the original Dungeons and Dragons version, and I think that's like Greek mythology or something. The Greeks like their gods to become animals before they screwed people.
Makes you wonder.
No, I don't wonder too much about the Greeks.
Just makes me wonder why the sheep were always
Probably
scared.
not politically correct to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. I'm sorry, what were you saying? It was probably better than that.
The sheep are always scared.
I thought that was Scots and New Zealanders.
Oh, I don't know.
That joke, like, how does New Zealanders find sheep in tall grass?
How?
Very pleasing. You could even say irresistible. No offense, New Zealand. Ah.
I was a little worried.
Oh, you
Well,
guys
I saw that you
going
muted
to
yourself, whatever, but when you unmuted yourself and you put your pencil to paper or your lead to paper, whatever, I didn't hear it at first. Then I was worried that you had gone mute again, like,
Mm.
But then I heard it.
He was counting down the minutes to the person that he's talking to, and he's like, "Come on, 26," and he's getting louder, and I'm like, "You're gonna do that for every single minute?" Like, I can't take that. No, no. I know that basically he's not wanting to end the phone call, and that's the way he's extending it, trying to make that last 4 minutes stretch out or whatever. It's kind of sad on one hand, and on the other hand, it's annoying as shit when I'm trying to hear what you're saying or hear the music or whatever. It's one of those things where I'm like, am I being a bad dad telling me shut the fuck up?
That's one of the things. I heard Jordan Peterson say that it's your job as a parent to raise kids that you like. Or I guess to raise adults that you like.
Yeah, it sounds good on paper.
Well,
the problem with raising kids is that it's not just you raising them. Once they go to school, it's them, their friends, the teachers, the principals, the bus drivers. Everybody outside of the house has a say, whether you like it or not, and what that child's exposed to or thinks is wrong or right. That's the unfortunate thing. But the parent gets the blame,
I blame all parents.
What's that?
I blame all parents. I blame my parents. I blame me.
Yeah, I don't think that's valid, Like, if we had complete control, like even the state's taking control from us in every way that they can, everywhere that they can. So if we had complete control, then you could blame it on us. But when you literally oppose us, undermine us, take it away, and I'm not talking about you, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
Like, I want to make that distinction, and I'm not even just talking about teachers. There's so many people that are in their lives other than us, and are okaying bad behavior, defending bad behavior, promoting bad behavior. There's no fucking way that a parent can do anything to stop it.
Oh.
They can stop it away around them within their presence.
That's true.
But that's about it.
Yeah, I don't think Jordan Peterson was saying it's your fault. I just said that it should be what you're trying to do.
Well, that's the flip side of that coin. And yes, I agree. I agree with the sentiment that you're saying is that that's what you should be trying for.
Right.
But there are so many factors that's not addressed in that. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm not saying that he's blaming the parent either, but that is the flip side of that statement is that if a child's not raised to be a person that you like, it's your fault because you should be raising him to be that person. Well, that's where the other factors come in, and he's not outright saying it, but that is the unintended consequences of that statement, I guess. Like on principle is one thing, but in reality, it's much harder to deal with.
I think since he was a clinical psychologist, he understands that.
I'm not saying he doesn't. I'm saying the statement though. If used and left alone without any accompaniment or without any context, it kind of works both ways like that. Either that or he intended it.
Well, I mean, again, as a parent, it is your job to raise the kid, and recognizing that there are external forces at play that you can't control. There are also internal forces you can't control. There are chemical things that you can't control, but that doesn't mean that you absolve yourself of the task. It is something that as a parent you undertake I will do my best to raise a child that is a fundamentally good human being. Now, saying that that's the, is the parents should try to do that, does imply, I think, I can understand the implication, I guess, that it's the parents' fault when that doesn't occur, except for it's not the parents' fault if they tried, to the best of their ability and whatnot. And there are external forces. There are, who knows what goes on with the chemical makeup of the child's brain, who they get put into school with, that kind of thing. Like, you're absolutely right. There's a whole bunch of reasons that kids can go wrong, but it's just, I think Peterson was saying that you try as a parent to do that, or you should be trying to do it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's what our job is as a parent. We stop being ourselves and we be their parents from the time that we're their parents, right?
Yeah.
But it is kind of weighty if you have expectations, or there's expectations weighed on a parent when there are situations that are fighting against whatever they're doing. It's really hard sometimes. And I'm not saying that, it's not the parent's fault at all, because sometimes it is just the parents' fault. Sometimes parents are bad parents. And that's as valid as my original objection. Not really objection, I guess addendum. I just wanted to say that
perhaps
there was more to it than just two people, raising a kid, because Calvin raises a kid,
Well, it's always kind of funny that the people who say it takes a village will then also sit there and blame the parents.
Yeah,
it's
I
like,
agree.
Wait, hold
on. I don't think it's funny, but I agree.
Well,
I agree.
Ironic.
I agree that happens.
Oh,
I'm playing with the word. I'm playing with words, so don't give out the concept of the way you say it. Just teasing. Trying to find a bright spot.
Shine off of my dome.
What's that?
Nothing. I said to shine off of my dome. That is the bright spot.
It could be. Ever been called over for it?
Convince me to dye my beard.
What's that?
My students are trying to convince me to dye my beard. They're like, yeah, your mustache could be green, and then like the rest of it could be pink. And I was like, no, just no, and no.
You kind of want a green mustache. People will think I sneezed and didn't wipe.
Yeah, exactly.
Like someone did on your head. I'm thinking his mouth is too big, because his head's probably 1.5 times the size of his head. And that looks much bigger right there. This is why some artists make maquettes. All right.
Oh, you just brought back memories of my least favorite art class.
Oh,
Oh,
does it involve my cats?
yeah. I remember because the professor was a dick. And,
How come they always are?
well, I don't know what was up his ass. He just,
Why can't we get James Gurney's?
well, I can take criticism, but we had these, it was this 3D art thing, and we'd do maquettes, and he would literally tear I was first because of my last name, supposedly. And he would,
Supposedly, huh?
yeah, well, so then he would literally tear my maquette apart with and like literally tear pieces off to explain how wrong it was. And then, I kid you not,
I'd kick him in the balls.
every other person who had any of the mistakes I had would be told, just like Booer did wrong. Just like Booer did wrong. So it's an hour of me hearing how I did it wrong. And, it's whatever. Like, no one else is having their maquette torn apart, but hey, whatever. Get to the last day of class. And he's like, once I'm done grading your project, you can go. I'm thinking, sweet. Well, first time me going first is ever going to be useful. He goes, so I think we'll reverse order since we always have Booer go first. And I was like, okay, you're just an asshole. And I don't know what was up his ass about stuff, but man, there's just, no matter what I did, it was just terrible and wrong.
Yeah, I had an art teacher that pretty much made me feel like that, but didn't say that outright. But like, he gave me low fucking grades and everything else. Didn't even talk to me about how I could improve and whatever. And then when I was successful and somebody else had his class that knew me, he was all like, "Oh, I taught him everything he knows." He didn't teach me shit.
I remember we had to do this project with three-dimensional, like 3 layers of tiles. And, it's not like to make your own tiles in a dorm, especially. Not the easiest thing in the world to do. Labor intensive, whatever. And mine, I was working with a guy in the class. He's like, and I had done one, and he's like, I really like the way that looks. It looks like it's kind of like it just looked kind of old and like Aztec-y kind of, and worn. And I didn't have time to redo it, so I was like, well, that's what they're going to look like. Like it's cool. Like, thank God it works, because I didn't have time to redo it. So we go through, and the guy's grading my stuff, and he goes, yeah, this, I really like the way this looks, but I don't think it was intentional. So I'm not going to give you any points for it. It's like, oh, okay, sure, whatever. Can't win, no matter what I do. No problem, got it. So.
See, I let that kind of stuff fuel me. It makes me angry, and I'm like, I have to prove some people wrong.
That's weird.
I guess I'm mature now.
I disappear. I apologize.
More mature now, because I just don't give a shit if somebody likes my shit or not. If they like it, that's great. I'd love to see it, but If they don't, then okay, you just don't like my shit. That's okay.
Well, yeah, I mean that's one thing, but I mean it's just when you're giving people grades, they're just being an ass about it. It's just like, all right, okay, cool. Like again, I went through and it's not like I stopped because of him. I was like another like we had to do this. We had to find some stupid piece of produce and make a sculpture out of it. All right, cool, whatever. Like using cement and
What did you make your maquette out of?
foam core normally. So I do this thing and I'm not really thrilled with it, but you know, whatever. It's whatever you have time for. And but I'm working on it. Like I'm pulling like several all-nighters on this thing. And I got that thing polished. Like he wanted us to get I don't know what kind of wax he wanted us to go buy because nobody could find it. But mine was the only one that was shiny. He's like, "Where did you find the wax?" And I was like, "I hate to tell you this. I never found it. I just sanded it and rubbed just rubbed it enough. It's the oil from my skin." And I had adjusted the presentation of it so it looks like it should fall over. And so it was a much more dynamic presentation. And again, he's like, I don't think that was intentional. It's like, how is that not intentional? Like, I purposely changed the way it worked because I thought this would look better. I don't know because I didn't plan it out originally that way, and I just decided that through the process. Like, this guy was just an ass. The only thing that helps me sleep at night, thinking about him, was I knew he had gotten like ceramic dust in his lungs, and so it was slowly just tearing his lungs apart. And I thought, well, could have happened to a nicer guy. Suppose that makes me a little petty, but I didn't do anything to him.
Well, when I was young, I probably would have kicked him in the nuts, tore my shit off. I'm much better now.
Well,
I have.
I would just be like, you know what? You're an ass.
I have kicked officials in the nuts before.
Oh.
That would not be unlike me.
Well, now it would be, you know what? You and me and the dean need to have a nice conversation. You would need to explain how the hell you think this is okay. Yeah. But, you get college kids who don't really know any better and, think professors can do whatever they want, and they can't. Not even back then.
Well, most of them get away with it because nobody stands up to them because they don't know they can.
Right. I didn't know I could.
Or parents don't.
Well, I would not, at that point in my life, I would not want my parents standing up for me. I mean, they'll back me, but I don't need them doing it for me. So.
Well, a lot of kids don't have that. The parents that'll go to the bat for them.
Well, at a certain, like, I would not.
That's not fighting their battles. That's going to bat for them. That's going places that the kids can't go because kids are kids.
Well, yeah. But when I was in college, I did not want my parents coming in and talking to me.
Right. College, I may not have kicked him in the balls. High school, I would have, and in fact have. Glad it wasn't today, because I'd be in prison for it today. But
Yeah.
got a lot going on internally, thinking about how I'm gonna do the finishes on this stuff. Part of me wants to do some really crazy, sloppy feathering and cross hatching. Part of me wants to do some strict, just black and white. And then part of me wants to realize it, pretty much render it in either marker or paint. So I'm conflicted. And maybe even digital. Of course, I'd have to scan all this stuff on digitally.
I'm going to take a slightly late mid-stream stretch here. I'll be right back. Just before I came back on, we had 3 viewers. As soon as I get here, I drove one away.
Oh, they think you're mute.
Hand check. Drawing.
Yeah, that was a joke. That was a joke. I've got a face for hand modeling.
Not a sponsor, but it could be. I was kind of surprised to find out that Dr. Pepper is now the #2 soft drink. I don't know if it's in the world or the country, but it's one or the other. So, did you see that thing where Zuckerberg said that they would stop the censorship that they never did?
You mean that they weren't doing.
Yeah, they were going to stop doing the censorship that they were not doing, according to them.
Did you see his actual speech or actual address?
No?
He was saying that the Biden administration pretty much put him there. He had no choice. So he didn't say he had no choice, but he said that they were pressuring all social media to remove certain things, and that he's since spoken with President Trump, and he's glad to be getting back to it being a platform where people can have free speech. So other countries are trying to enforce that stuff. So I'm not really surprised at all. But, the Babylon Bee says the guy who said that they weren't doing it.
Oh. Well, I saw that.
I watched it.
I read the articles about how he was like, they're going to get rid of the fact checkers because the fact checkers created less trust. And it's like, because they were political hacks and not because.
Well, then he said that a lot of posts got flagged that shouldn't have been flagged, but there's a real concern with like trafficking and stuff like that going through social media. So he's trying to find a balance. That's why they're going to be doing the community corrections or whatever that Facebook calls it, or X calls it.
Community notes?
Yep. They're basically doing that now.
Well, that's actually not a bad. I mean, it was a good idea.
Yeah, because it leaves the comment stand, but then shows how other people find it inaccurate or what they find inaccurate about it.
Yeah, but it's not necessarily an expert that you pay to say it, or whatever.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It leaves that content there,
right?
But just puts a tag where other people are commenting on it. Most of the community notes, I don't know if you've noticed or if you're on X.
I'm not on X.
Most of the community notes are a little attachment at the bottom with a link to whatever the comment is, and then it asks you whether that comment was helpful or not.
My problem with X is and it could all be timing. It could all be me just assigning blame to anyone but me. But overall, my progression as a writer took a hit when I went on Facebook. So I had avoided it for years.
You don't write as much when you're on Facebook, you mean?
Well, yeah, I had... and to some extent, I still find myself doing this. Although I'm better about it now, because now I'll, like once Rhonda's in bed, I just turn Facebook off normally. Because I'm like, nobody's going to be messaging me. Or nobody that I care enough about. But even then, the Facebook, the Reels or whatever, they're just as bad as YouTube Shorts. My God.
Yeah, they're the same thing.
Yeah.
They just call them Reels on Facebook. They call them Shorts. They call them something else on TikTok. Call them something else on Instagram. So yeah.
Yeah, and I just man, those things are.
Yeah, they're trouble.
Yeah.
Like I've actually been watching positive stuff on there lately.
Yeah.
Because I've had so much negativity. I'm like, I need some positive stuff. And there's this guy, Josh, I think Josh Will too, that he's in somewhere in Minnesota. And what he does is he goes and buys food for the homeless, and then restaurants donate as well. A lot of them even give him discounts or don't charge him or whatever. But then he goes and feeds the homeless and the needy, and kind of advertises for the restaurant that helped him out. And I think that's really cool, because I think that that's the way you should do it anyway, that you shouldn't be taxed to do it. You should be doing it because you want to do it. And that guy's the example. Like, he makes it his day to do that. So if I watch at the end of the day, or, you know, if somebody else wants to pitch in, they can jump in and they can donate to his cause. People have paid while he's in the restaurant, paid the bill, or, you know, helped him hand out and then donated to the next bill. Or I've even seen restaurant owners and employees, like I've seen waitresses give him their tips for paying for that. I've seen restaurant owners purchase blankets and extra coats and stuff and have him pass them out while he goes passing the food out. And that's kind of addictive to watch, because it's pretty much, there's I think 3 people that I've seen doing it, but there's not a whole lot of people running around doing that, and there is plenty of places in need of that. So, but it eats up my time 3 minutes at a time. Like 1.5 minutes is him surprising people with an order of 20 of something or 30 of something, and then the other 1.5 minutes is him passing them out and seeing how those needy people are very appreciative. And I don't know, that's positive, and I see the negatives all the time. Like, I'm starting to get into watching the whole messing with the cops. I'm like, I just don't understand the mentality of going out and intentionally fucking with the cops.
Yeah.
You know, the First Amendment audits is what they are, and what they do is create tension. They create trouble where there was none before. They create bad will where there was none before, and make cops into bad guys that may not have been bad guys before, you know. Right. Now, they also expose the ones that are, but there are far more people that get sucked into those kinds of arguments and disputes. And though legally the cops can't do anything about you filming somewhere, if you're getting up in people's faces and they ask you not to do that, they should have just as much right to have you back up, or, you know, give them a break from following them around. Cops can't follow them around for so long before it's harassment. It should be the same thing with private citizen. You know, so there's degrees. Yeah. But all it ends up doing, and at the end of the day, which is one of those statements, all it ends up doing at the end is just creating ill will between certain people. Like, if they were filming a post office or whatever, and they've got the footage they want, they've got the information they want, they can leave and they can post that shit without trying to bring the cops into it just to be a dick.
Right.
So, you know, there's a point in time where a cop pulls somebody over and they're filming them, and the cop is violating their rights and doing wrong things. That's one thing. But when you go searching for it, that's a whole different thing. That's starting trouble that wasn't there. So I had to stop watching it because I was getting worked up about it. Like, I was either getting really pissed at the cops for bad behavior, or I was getting really pissed at the people filming, and then they never show the results. They want you to subscribe to see the results. Like, no. No, you got this build up and you have no payoff. Like, why would I subscribe to your channel if that's all I'm gonna see? No thanks.
See, Rhonda likes to watch a lot of the true crime stuff, and like the confessions that they videotape, and I'm just like, and every time I watch them, I just think, why are you talking to the cops without your lawyer?
Right.
They put you in a room, you shut up until you have a lawyer. I don't care if you're innocent. I don't care.
And a lot of them think that they actually want to try to help the cops. But they don't understand, if the cops got you in that room, they're looking to bust you. They're not looking for information. They've got the information they think that they need to get you to say something so that they can bust you and not have to work anymore.
Right.
So, yeah, it's crap. Cops can lie to you, so you don't know, even if you know the truth,
Yeah.
So you definitely need a lawyer. You definitely need someone who knows what their tricks are and what their bullshit is and whether they can hold you for something.
Yeah.
I've seen them hold people for hours and get a confession out of them when it end up being a false confession. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that's Rhonda watches a lot of false confession videos too, and I'm just like, it's because they're talking without a lawyer.
Yeah, well, that's the short of it, right?
Pretty much. Now it sucks if you can't afford one. You have to go with public defender, but
oh yeah, did you see that shit? There's a January 6th public defender that's happy she gets her clients to fucking plead guilty.
Oh, see, that should be someone who's disbarred.
Right, and she's come out and said it, so the evidence is from her own fucking face.
That is evil.
It is completely evil. That's not a lawyer's job. A lawyer's job is not to convince you that you're right or wrong. A lawyer's job is to defend you. If they can't defend you, and you're going to lose anyway, then the lawyer's job is to look for the best deal for you.
I don't know, she may have just provided all of those clients a reason to say, my counsel was actively working against me.
Well, yeah. You always say, I want a mistrial, declared a mistrial because I didn't have legal representation, because that wasn't really legal representation.
Yeah, that's rough. That's like a lot of the stuff, the January 6th stuff. It's like, all right, I don't know how anyone can reasonably think that in the country with the most guns per capita, that people had an insurrection where they all forgot to bring weapons.
Right. The only guns were the cops' guns.
Right.
The only people that were shot and killed were the innocent people that were unarmed.
Yeah. So, okay, but I just, if you're going to insist that it's an insurrection, I think you're irrational, and you're either irrational or you're lying. So there's that. Now, if you want to say it's a riot,
yeah, irrational or disingenuous.
right? So, if you want to say it's a riot, I can get behind that. I can understand that interpretation. It's a pretty peaceful riot as opposed to some pretty peaceful riots, but hey, whatever. So it's a riot.
I think it's a protest.
Well, it's a protest that got out of hand and became a riot, which happens.
Well, I disagree, because I don't think that they did anything out of hand.
Well, I'm trying to kind of steel man that side.
Yeah, you're being devil's advocate, but still.
Well, no, I'm not. I promise. I'm just trying to say let's just give them that it's a riot for the moment.
Yeah, but I won't give them shit.
Okay, well,
they're gonna take it whether I give it to them or not, but I'm not gonna fucking hand it to them. But that was the point, right?
Well, no, just my thing is. Okay, Mark's here. Oh, hi, Mark. But my thing was, that look at the way that the people were treated versus even if you think it's a riot, the response from the state is way overblown compared to anything that those people did. And all the people who want to sit there and say, oh, they were trying to overthrow the country. No, they weren't. It was a coup. No, it wasn't. It's just not. And the way those people were treated is going to be one of the worst cases of our government mistreating people, its own citizens, ever. And that's Biden's fault. Put that squarely on Biden. That's why I would say he is the absolute worst president ever. And
Obama drone striked us.
Yeah, well, again, Ashley Babbitt, that's her name, right? She's dead because of some of that stuff.
Well, the person who Obama drone strikes.
Well, I know, I agree. I get that. Uh-oh. I always like how the threat to democracy was democratically elected, and therefore, to save democracy, you must get rid of democracy so that democracy is saved. Mental gymnastics. Of course, the same thing goes. You can vote your way into socialism. You can never vote your way out. Or maybe that's just communism. But, it seems to be one of the...
Same thing, no matter how much they want to believe it's not the same thing.
I was just thinking, okay, Mark, tell us what Rich is drawing, but only wrong answers. Thanks, Mark. Mark said we absolutely cannot tolerate intolerance, and only those who are ideologically tolerant should be able to vote. Methinks, and I could be crazy here, I think Mark might be exercising some verbal irony. No, that was me. That was not Rich. Come on now. Now you're reading the comments, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, I was reading that particular comment. I noticed he didn't capitalize Rich. And Mark would have meant me, he would have capitalized it.
Are you just trying to mock his bad typing skills? It's okay, Mark. I'll stand up for your bad typing skills.
We had this discussion last time about what's capitalized and what's not.
Are you assuming my gender? I might have to go mod, kick Mark out. Do you remember that character that Mark had that always said he was involved in major points of history? I don't remember the character's name, but I love that guy.
Was he a magician?
Yeah, it was that. Mark had that. I don't want to say weird story, but it was. I guess new weird. It was probably where I'd probably put it. With really, it was you, Mark, and there were like aliens, and they went to some other world or universe. It's been a while, and
yeah, there's at least 2 examples I can think of, maybe 3 that do that.
But it was Mark's.
Yeah, I'm talking about a Marx.
Oh.
They were all based on flash fiction that he wrote. So he was expanding. One of them's a magician.
Oh, well, he was a magician.
Like a mage, not a magician, but
I was thinking there was like an alien.
Yeah. And
road trip.
And yeah, okay, so that was the 4 dudes trying to find their way back home or something.
4 dudes in the universe.
Huh?
Mark said it's 4 dudes in the universe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wasn't there a guy that was like always saying he was involved with stuff that there was no way in hell he could have ever been involved with? I seem to recall that. I hope I'm not making that up. Okay, Mark said I mean Bradley. I love that guy. I thought he was great. Like, I wouldn't want a whole book of Bradley, I don't think that could work. Because it's... But, where he's like the sidekick sort of type thing would work just fine. Like, I think if he were on a sitcom, he would be the breakout star. But if you tried to give him his own show, I don't know if that would work.
The H.M. Murdoch of the 18.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Mark said the standard line was, "This reminds me of the party at Lady Gaga's," or some such plausible thing. Yeah, it was kind of like Raymond Reddington, only further out there. I don't know if you ever watched The Blacklist. But,
have you watched the whole of any season?
I have not watched, like... Oh, when did I give up? And I basically gave up because I didn't really have access to it at the time. Like, I had cable when it was on, and then I dropped cable, and I didn't have access.
First season was pretty brilliant, actually.
Yeah, I remember the first season. Like, I watched clear up until...
Between the first season and the second season, I watched the first season over again.
Yeah.
After watching the last episode of the first season, and it kind of makes a loop that's really cool. But then they changed the mythology a little bit in the second season and in the third season.
Well, after she had her baby and her mom, I think was supposed to. I think that was supposed to be her mom, and then Raymond Reddington disposes of her. And I just thought it was like, yeah, this kind of got away from the whole blacklist. I don't know.
Well, because he's always been a bad guy. But at the end of the first season, if they'd have left it off like that, it would have looked like he was really a good guy. And then they had to start with the next season, make him the worst guy.
Uh,
I don't think that's actually Mark's character was like that. I think he was more like the original Dagonet from King Arthur's stories, which was like, if you remember Conan the Destroyer,
yeah.
Nalik,
Okay.
his buddy there. Like after he kills Dagon, Alex stabs him with his little knife and puts his foot up on him like he did it. That's kind of the feel I got from the other. He was bragging about shit that he didn't do.
Mark said at certain points of his life he worked for the CIA, the NSA, and Danny's Disco, which was really a secret cover for the Black Ops of the PTA. Mark said that he has to go. He has a lot to get done, but I may check back in later. Ciao, amigos.
Yeah, ain't much of a later left. Half an hour or so. But yeah, have a good one. Thanks for stopping by, Mark.
Yeah. Oh, Bradley. Bradley. Oh.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to end the stream early. I think I've got to run.
Okay.
But panels are laid out. This one's pretty full. I'm gonna do a little bit over here.
Oh wow, I just realized. Interesting. Okay.
What's that?
Well, okay, so the bottom right, the way so the top of the bottom right panel currently goes over. There's a line, an implied line, over to the other side, which kind of puts the Demogorgon's head in its own box without it actually being in its own box.
Heads.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yep.
Fun times.
All right, yeah, really. I got to run. So, thanks for everyone that watched. Thanks, Mark, for hanging out for a while. I don't know who else was here. But anyone that watched, thanks. Like, subscribe, follow. Thanks. God bless. Much love. Good night.
Peace.